In pidgin English, we say rain no dey fall for only one man roof. It's only a matter of time. I don't think it surprises me that the governor has been attacked.
So right now, as we are not sure that this country will exist by 2023. This is the worst time ever in the history of this country to be Nigerian.
Welcome to episode 3 of Reactions. My name is Mr. Sal. Thank you to everybody that's watched our first and second episodes. We are really grateful. With me here today reacting to all the trending national issues for this week are Mr. Henry Oqua.
Thank you.
And Mr. Houston Nwachukwu.
Thank you for having me.
How are you guys doing?
We're very fine, thank you.
Mr. Houston, how was your week?
My week was good so far.
What did you do?
I did a lot. I did a lot.
Okay, you don't want to share?
I don't think I want to share.
All right, we're just going to get straight
You're not going to ask me how my own week was.
Mr. Henry Oqua, how's your week?
I finally went for a photo shoot in my life.
What photo shoot was that?
For the podcast now.
For the podcast? You guys don't want to see that photo shoot.
At this point, I think you should show them the pictures. But anyway, I think you should show them the pictures.
Hopefully you guys get to see that picture on the thumbnail for this episode and other previous episodes as well. Yeah. So I'm just going to move to the first topic we have to discuss or to react to this week. So during the weekend, on Saturday last week, the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, was attacked by suspected Fulani herdsmen on his farm in the state. Governor Ortom confirmed the attack, saying that he was inspecting the farm when the herders who were dressed in black ambushed him and his security men and opened fire. He stated that it took the swift response of his security aides to repel the attack while he ran for a long distance to escape unhurt. The Benue State governor lamented that the attack came a few days after the leadership of Miyetti Allah held a meeting in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, and singled him out as a thorn in their flesh who must be eliminated, pointing out that he received intelligence to that effect. So I'm just going to stop here because there's a lot that unfolded as well concerning this whole debacle. So I need you guys to react to a sitting governor. This is a governor of a state in Nigeria being attacked in broad daylight, and forced literally to run on his feet, whatever, to run for his dear life. What does that mean in the times where we are right now? A governor is single-handedly being attacked by suspected whoever, in broad daylight, and he had to run. To react to that bit.
Nobody's safe. That's basically what it means. If the chief executive officer of a state in Nigeria can be attacked like that in broad daylight and he can flee and even narrate his experience. You think about it, this is the same thing you hear from people who narrate their ordeals with kidnappers. It means nobody's safe, Sal. There's nobody that can protect anybody in Nigeria. Even the elite who were able to buy security for themselves before. It's obvious now that they can't secure themselves. Everybody is living in Nigeria on the edge. Anything can happen at any time, and there will be nobody to blame. There will be nobody to bring anybody to book. If you understand what I mean, it's a jungle. It's a jungle. Nobody's safe.
Wow, Mr. Houston, do you want to react to a sitting governor being attacked in broad daylight? Having to run for his dear life, and he clearly has an idea of why he's being attacked. What does that mean for the times that we are in right now?
Well, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to get to this point before Nigerians realized that no one is actually safe. I've always known no one was safe. Mm-hmm. We had Fashoranti's daughter murdered by these same people. We had Wole Soyinka's house invaded at some point.
We can put allegedly for that one because I don't think anybody was convicted for that murder.
Yeah. I don't think anybody was convicted for any of them either. So you call it allegedly. These are people coming out to to state their claims. So we've been hearing this over and over and over and over. Yoruba people say, they have a proverb where they say, if the witch cried by night, the baby died by morning. It's simple semantics. You don't need anybody to tell you who killed the baby. So this thing has been happening for some time. I think it is funny that everyone is taking it very serious right now, and everyone is realizing how unsafe the country is because a governor was actually attacked. It's only a matter of time. In Pidgin English, we say rain no dey fall for only one man roof. It's only a matter of time till it sweeps through. So Nigeria is sinking deep with insecurity. I don't think it surprises me that the governor has been attacked. Come on, the governor was a man, was a citizen like you and I before all of this. So it's just, for me, it's still the same insecurity we're talking about. It doesn't lay emphasis on the insecurity. It's still the same insecurity we're talking about.
So are you saying right now that this is supposed to be a norm right now? Are we supposed to normalize governors now being attacked, maybe possibly the president now getting attacked? Is that supposed to be a norm in Nigeria right now? Are we supposed to brace ourselves and get ready for such things to become normal, like the Boko Haram attacks?
What I'm saying basically is, it doesn't have to be a topic only when a governor has been attacked. It's been there all along. This thing has been happening, but now it looks like we are now making it look more important because a public servant has actually been attacked. So what I'm trying to say is, this thing has been as serious. People died in 2015. People died in Agatu, in this same governor's place. People died in Enugu. People died in Kajuru, Kaduna State. People have been dying around Nigeria. Should we go on and on and on? Just now, a governor has been affected, and people are coming out to say, wow, if a governor is not safe, that means I'm not safe. Last year, in 1 month, in September alone, I went by road to Lagos, to and fro, and I was praying for my life for those 2 journeys, like to and fro, because almost every point we got to, we heard of things that happened minutes before we arrived there. So I've always known how unsafe the country is. It didn't take Ortom for me to realize the country wasn't safe.
Oh wow. So I'm just going to go on to the other activities that unfolded after the attack of the governor. So this happened, the attack on the governor happened on Saturday, and on Monday, a Fulani group identified as the Fulani Nationality Movement, FUNAM, claimed responsibility for the attack on the governor. FUNAM said that it planned to kill Governor Ortom on Saturday, but its plan failed because of a slight communication error. A statement by one Umar Amisheu titled "Why We Attacked Ortom" reads, I'm just going to read the statement here. Our attention has been drawn to media reports today, that's on Monday, this statement was released, speculating about who attacked the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. Yes, we did. The Fulani Nationality Movement, FUNAM, carried out the attack. That's the statement going on. We have genuine reasons. We acted on behalf of millions of Fulani people in 15 countries. Please take note. It is a case of vengeance against an infidel who has used his time and money deployed in destroying the Fulani values and inheritance. Our courageous fighters carried out this historic attack to send a great message to Ortom and his collaborators. Wherever you are, once you are against Fulani long-term interests, we shall get you down. That's the statement continuing. This is a clear warning, they say. We hope those who take us for granted will get the indisputable message. Our intention is unequivocal: to kill him, in caps. That's the way the statement came. That mission will one day be fulfilled, and very soon too. I'd like to add that despite this statement, like this group known as FUNAM, they came out to say that they carried out this attack, and their intention is to kill the governor of Benue State and anybody who stands against Fulani values. So they released this statement on Monday. They took responsibility. They said, yeah, we carried out this attack. But what I noted as the week unfolded, today is Friday, the police has not released any statement. They didn't react in any form. no arrest was made. Even the presidency has gone silent on this matter. Like nothing has been said about this group, FUNAM. You know, instead, I think on Tuesday or so, some 3 fishermen were arrested in Benue State. They said they saw them at the scene of the alleged crime. You know, so Henry Oqua, I would like you to react to this. There's a group of people right now, you know, they have come out to say this attack on the governor, we carried out this attack and we intended to kill him. You know, but still yet, the police has done nothing. Even the governor has not responded to this.
He visited the president, and when he
came
came out.
I'm saying this statement. We're going to get to what he said. Like, this FUNAM. I'm looking at FUNAM coming out to say, okay, we carried out this attack. Then the police has failed to do anything, and the presidency has kept quiet.
So this is my view on this matter.
Yeah.
I believe it was in 2017 that the first threat to Ortom's life came. Yeah, with the anti-grazing law, you know, and this time they've come closer. And God forbid they say third time the charm. Third time's the charm, yeah? Hopefully that third time does not happen. However, Sal, I just want to back up a bit and say I don't like how Houston has put this security issue. I am not saying that the other lives are not important. You get what I'm saying? However, it's like climbing a ladder. Do you understand? You don't exactly climb when you don't exactly celebrate when you're on the first landing or when you are midway. By the time you hit the top, there's a different feel. You understand? I feel like that's what has happened progressively with this movement up till this point.
But to cut you short there, are you trying to make the other Nigerians?
No, I am not. What I'm explaining now is if it took 15, if they could get 15 lives, yeah, and that was where they were at that point. Now that they can threaten the governor's life, so it means they can get 25 to 30 lives. Do you understand? It means that whatever backing they had before has been raised a notch higher, and they can go after the fish that really matters to them. Because you can tell from that statement that Ortom is the thorn in the flesh. You get? Now, I want to continue commenting on this, but they left a warning in there for us and for every other well-thinking Nigerian. Back off this matter. That's what they're saying. Do you understand? But now, another thing that we must consider is, do you know whether you right now, Salisu, whether you are standing in the way of the long-term agenda and interest of FUNAM? Do you know?
I don't know, because those values have not been spelled out.
Exactly. So it means any one of us can be erring and we wouldn't even know it. Do you understand? One last thing I want to add. You see, the governor mentioned how Mieti Allah had a meeting in Yola and then the attack happened. You know, and it was Mieti Allah that gave the warning to him in 2017. So I think what we are failing to realize here is that this FUNAM is probably the militarized arm of Mieti Allah. This FUNAM is probably what we have been fighting for, what we have been calling out against, calling everything, lumping everything, farmers, headers clash, bandits and whatnot. I think it is FUNAM. We now have the name of an organization. The right thing that would have happened, if you remember what happened with IPOB, the next step that the president was supposed to take was to proscribe that group.
Yeah, but why do you think they kept quiet? Why did the police keep quiet and the presidency has kept? Why do you think they are keeping quiet?
I think every Nigerian knows why they are keeping quiet. If a group can attack, so maybe we don't understand who a governor is. Yeah, a governor is the president to the people in the state. He's the most important person. He holds the identity and the respect and everything that that state means. He embodies all of that. Now, when a group that is not so when a group of people can threaten that man's life and make him run, what do you think is happening? You think anybody in Benue State is safe? You think? I want to see the next governor that will have the mind to do some of the things that Ortom has done and tell me that that person will not face the same thing.
Wow. Mr. Houston, looking at FUNAM, the same question to Mr. Henry Oqua. You know, why do you think the government has kept quiet? Not caring what the world would think, not caring what the citizens would think, but the government right now, the security agencies have stepped back. They are not touching this. That's what it looks like right now. It's like we are not touching this matter. What do you think is so big about this group that the government cannot handle? They cannot even fake it to handle. You know, they'll rather just leave it as it is. This is very crazy.
So before I start, let me trash something Mr. Harry said.
Yeah.
I wasn't making little of what happened to Governor Ortom. I was only simply saying that we didn't need it to get to this point before we will all realize how much insecurity we have to deal with in this country. There's so much insecurity. It's been there. In 2015, we witnessed the Agatu massacre. We've had massacres by this same sect over and over and over. So I am only saying Nigerians are making me feel like they make me irate with this attention right now that's being given to Ortom. He might be the number one citizen of his state. That's political. When it comes to the nitty-gritty of things, we're all human beings. We are all human beings. One soul, one US citizen soul is just as important as that of the president, even though the president is much more secure. Do you understand? They came down to Nigeria, the US came down to Nigeria to rescue one of their own. With all of that manpower and everything they put in place just to rescue one of them. That's to tell you how important, that's to tell you how much they care about one soul. So I'm saying, when it's maybe now that it's beginning to get to governors, I don't care about the importance of Ortom to one thing. You can't really, I mean, the Italian mafias will tell you can't necessarily kill your enemy. You only weaken your enemy because your enemy has a son and his son has a relative. So you don't kill your enemy. If they kill Ortom right now, what makes them think whoever is standing in their way is over? It's never really like that. Some other person comes from somewhere. So I don't think Ortom is even their actual target. He's probably a stumbling block, but I don't think he's actually their main target. See, if you are not one of these people, if you are not one of them, you are a target. Because if you're not one of them, you clearly you do not embody the same consciousness with them. So you don't have the same goals with them and you're in their way. Now, with regards to FUNAM, sorry, what's the full meaning again? Fulani Nation, something. Okay. Now they're saying their agenda now is Funalization, as according to Obasanjo, the former president. He said it's Fulanization. Now, clearly it is an agenda. We have a name now. We have something to work with. Some time ago,
when you say we to work with,
Nigeria, the government, the security agencies, they have a name.
The problem right now is that they are not working with anything. That's why I'm asking.
Yes. Now, I'm trying to tell you what they should do that they aren't doing. Yes, it's obvious. They have a name right now. It took them how many minutes to apprehend somebody who tweeted? A question was asked on Twitter. What would you do if you're given $2 million right now? And the person said, I will hire Russian assassins to kill the president. Just yesterday, he lost a case. He lost his case because the DSS picked him up and sued him for, treason. And he lost his case. It took them how many days to apprehend the person who had the SIM card of Hanan Buhari. Now we have a name. We have Umar Amer Shehu, who claims to be the spokesman or the leader of the FUNAM. Now, this is a radical movement of Meti Allah, obviously, because the Meti Allah haven't come out to condemn this act. They have not come out to criticize this group, to denounce the group, exactly. The government have not come out to denounce this group. It took them how many minutes to come out and prescribe IPOB and the rest of them? So what is actually taking them this long? So my own take on this is, I think it makes me somehow, things like this somehow make Nigerians like me sympathize with people who come out with separatist views, because I'm not a separatist. I'm not looking for secession. But in a situation where you murder people, the government that's supposed to protect you isn't protecting you, and these people are saying they don't want to do what you expect them, they have a right to state their claim. So that's my point with the whole thing. I think it's up to the government to do something right now, because
but the government is not doing anything.
They should do something.
I'm trying to see that reason. Why are they not doing something?
Well, I think the government it's because they say you're either for someone or you're against the person. If the government isn't doing anything about a group that is this radical, that's making threats against a people and a very important person in a state, then the government is probably for them.
Would you publicly come out and denounce your own blood?
It depends
Would
on
you-
your integrity.
Now we are getting
Depends on your
somewhere.
integrity. If your blood has done something bad,
Now
there
we're
are
getting-
instances
now we are
where
getting
people
somewhere.
come out to say, "Hey, I do not support you. You're my brother. You're my sister. But whatever actions you have committed right now, I do not support
Could you
it.
could
I
you give
totally
me
condemn
could you
it."
give me an example of integrity in your own words?
In my own words?
Yes, what integrity
For
will
example, if
manifest
I have a
like?
sibling that committed rape, I'm not
I
gonna
can
hand-
give you
I'm
I
not
can
gonna
give you an
hand them.
example.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm going to
So-
stand up and say you did
So,
the crime, you pay for the crime.
this now answers reinforces my points from the first episode to last episode to this one. There's no such thing as government in Nigeria. Whoever is sitting there is irresponsible, is incompetent, and unable, lacks the capacity to actually govern. Do you understand?
Do you think the president is scared? I know the president is a Fulani man. You know, we know he's a Fulani man. That cannot just
Remember,
be
he's the grand
excuse.
patron. Sal.
Yeah, but
He's the grand patron of
still,
Nigeria.
even if then you have a group that comes out, your fellow people come out to say that they intended here, they wrote it in bold letters to kill him. That's to commit murder. That's a clear intention to commit murder. You know, so and you still see down there, is the president now scared of the group? That's what I'm looking at. You can be a member of the group, but do you get scared of your group?
Yeah, he is.
Well,
It's a shame, but yes, the general is afraid of what the group has metamorphosed into.
You want to say something?
For me, I don't think there's a difference between being afraid of somebody or being afraid of something and with sympathizing with something.
Sympathizing with attempt to kill.
Oh yes, you could be an apologist for these people. You could be sympathizing with something. Last week, during the Katsina market burning or whatever, arson in Katsina market, you heard of the man who stole 7 shoes. Who ratted him out? His own wife. His wife called him out. His wife said, "Return these shoes." He didn't return them after 24 hours. His wife alerted the authorities and told them, "My husband is in possession of 7 shoes. He didn't buy these shoes. He didn't purchase them. These are female shoes. He's not going to wear them. Clearly, he stole them." That's integrity. So if you are not doing that, you're either sympathizing with this person, not necessarily being afraid of them, because you're the commander-in-chief. You're the commander-in-chief. Abacha, the late Abacha, in 1996, waged a war against the Sultan of Sokoto, the then Sultan of Sokoto. He single-handedly took him out. That's supposed to be the grand patron of Islam in Nigeria, Muslims in Nigeria. That's supposed to be the figurehead of all the Muslims in Nigeria. Even though Abacha used brute force, but then that's to let you know that after God in Nigeria, politically, it's the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
So he was able to oust the Sultan of Sokoto without any opposition. So why would the president be afraid? He is also a general, an ex-general. So I think he sympathizes with his people, not necessarily scared of them. But then from sympathy, having sympathy for these people, I mean, things could only deteriorate, which is even worse than fear for me, if you ask me. Because if the president was really scared, I think out of fear, he could have done something. He could have said, "Chief of Army Staff, do what you want to do, my hand is not there."
So-
But that's not fear, that's sympathizing.
So I think it is what's the word?
Well,
Disappointing, genuinely disappointing that the narrative or the conversation around the office of the president has come to the points where we as the people have to make excuses for him. Do you understand? We have to get to
what's going on.
we are figuring
Yeah,
we
we
are
have
figuring
to
stuff
figure out
out by
what's going on.
ourselves. You understand? So it is. I'm afraid for what this may mean for Nigeria going forward. It's not just about what he represents. It's not just about what his handlers are doing with him. It is what our idea now. Our
The
idea
standard is set.
exactly.
Yeah.
Our idea now of leadership, was for people our age, maybe late Abacha years, Obasanjo, a bit of Yar'Adua, Jonathan, and then Buhari. But there was a different taste from those leaders. You get. So I'm afraid that right now the bar has been set so low, extremely low, that there's nothing you need to do in the office of the president. If the next guy comes and appears to bother about one thing about Nigerians will give the person a pass mark completely.
All right, let's move on to other matters. So moving on, in an interview with Channels Television, a former lawmaker, Senator Dino Melaye, made the following statement. I'm just going to read the quote. I apologize to God Almighty, who is the supreme controller of the universe, and Nigerians for supporting Buhari. The Buhari agenda is the greatest scam that came out of Africa. The Buhari presidency in 2015 is the greatest scam that came out of Africa. He went on to say, once I was blind, now I can see. Wow. How can one remain in a political party and support the presidency with what is happening today in Nigeria? I regret seriously supporting that because we were scammed. So Senator Dino Melaye, who we all know, a former senator, always flaunting his wealth on Instagram. We've seen him in different dramatic experiences for his corruption allegations and other things. So he's coming out to say he used to be an APC member.
Yeah.
Then he defected prior to the 2019 elections and lost. So he's coming out to say President Buhari is the biggest scam that's come out of Africa. Yeah, saying that he regrets supporting the president in 2015. And I'm wondering, who is Senator Dino Melaye to come out and make this statement? I don't even know what he was being interviewed for. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, what did Senator Dino Melaye do as a senator? Because most times these senators or these politicians come out when they're in the opposition. I'm not saying things are the best right now, but as a senator, as a lawmaker, people that collect money, constituency fees and all these things, what did he do for his people? If they are to bring Dino Melaye to come and stand before God today and say, when you were senator, when you held political offices, even now that you're out of office, you have so much money. What have you done for your people? What do you do? Rather than make videos clowning yourself and acting in Nollywood movies like a lunatic. Yeah, because you're a politician. You're here to serve. I don't think you just come out to the public. I don't know why Channels TV gave him a platform, in my opinion, for him to come out and speak and say all this nonsense that he said. So Henry Oqua, I don't know, do you have any reaction to all this?
I think...
Is President Buhari the biggest scam? Even if it's the biggest scam, is Senator Dino Melaye the right person to come out to tell us this?
I couldn't be bothered about Dino, to be honest. Being one of Nigeria's bad boy senators at this age and at this level is just disappointing. Dino Melaye played a significant role in the ousting of the last sensible kind of leadership Nigeria ever had. He was part and parcel of the people who sold us the scam. So how can he open his mouth and say we were scammed? Him and who? We were not scammed. We knew what we were getting, what Nigeria was getting in the build-up to the 2015 elections. We knew what Dino Melaye's comments cost the last administration. We saw everything play out. So he shouldn't know. He cannot join us and wail. He can't.
Mr. Houston, are you impressed with Dino Melaye as a politician? Do you think he delivered enough for his people for him to come out to tell us that we're in the biggest scam ever that can come out from Africa?
I noticed he apologized to God.
And to Nigerians.
He apologized.
What does that mean? What does the apology mean?
Probably should apologize to Nollywood as well too. Anyway, the thing is, see, for me, I think Dino Melaye doesn't have the moral ground to come out to apologize, to talk to us about scams or any of these things. Like you rightly said, I don't know why channels even give him the platform.
Yeah.
Dino Melaye went from an honorable leader to a very horrible leader. He's not, as far as I'm concerned, he's not in the right place to even address Nigerians. What are you apologizing for? We're talking about critical issues. People are dying, people are going through stuff, and you think coming on TV to apologize for these things will make us perceive you. By the way, Dino Melaye is a politician.
Yeah.
And politicians can always turncoat anytime. They're turncoats anytime they could defect.
We've seen him jump from one party
3
to
times.
the other.
He went from this party to this party and back to this party.
Benefit you.
I mean, and today he's apologizing. What makes you think tomorrow he wouldn't insult you on TV?
Exactly. Then what have you done? Like, if you have done something, then I can listen to you.
So
if we have checked your integrity and everything, then
I'm an avid traveler. I thank God for that. And I've been to his local government, his constituency, and I've seen the. It's such like people live in such penury that I'm not expecting Dino Melaye to take money and give people directly, but just like you said, we should be able to see things he has done.
Yeah.
You can't be coming you can't be coming out of poverty and not lifting people out of poverty as well. I mean,
yeah, and you're on social media every day,
and you're always on social media showing wealth and all that.
I don't
We
have
see
a
you in
problem with
Abuja.
that, you know, but if you have done your job, if you delivered your mandate to your people, then you can do
But
all
guys,
those.
guys, so that we keep Nigerians, regular Nigerians, in the know about how these things work.
Yeah.
Lawmakers are not supposed to run projects. That's the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not supposed to run projects. Their job is to represent the people in the house.
They collect this money.
Constituency allowances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, not
this is
allowance.
not-
Constituency projects.
This is not the place where it's not today that we'll table that, but there's a process, there's a procedure behind that. Do you understand? As far as the books are concerned, the way it is actually supposed to run, no senator receives money to undertake any project in his place.
But
Nobody does.
In reality, though,
What happens? So let me just try and rush through that. What happens is that at that point of the budget defense, each senator will know what is earmarked for his constituency. That's the point where he's supposed to fight for those things to come out. Yeah, there's stuff that's called constituency projects. Do you understand? But how senators can directly influence the lives of their people is at that point where the government says this is what we intend to spend. Do you understand? The ones at the House of Assembly level now, so the senators and House of Representatives are looking after your interests in the on the federal level. Your House of Assembly members are watching over your interests at the state level. Do you understand? So that's how it works basically. It's not as if they're giving these monies to go on. Yes, their allowances are outrageous and whatnot.
Let's even remove the allowances. A lot of rich people in Nigeria.
No doubt.
You are rich. You know, you don't need to be mandated. They're private individuals that develop these foreign countries. You know, so what have you done with all your wealth?
I think-
all your accumulated wealth, all the money you have. You don't have to be a government official. Once you are privileged, you should be able to do some things. You know, create employment. Put down, do a road if you can do it. You know, these are humanitarian things. They're not things that have to be political. And I still frown at him for not doing all those because I've not seen anything he has done. I saw one ugly bridge. They said it didn't. Please.
Without holding on to Dino Melaye for too long, I think he's just a disgruntled politician. I think he's just dissatisfied with not winning his last election. That's his problem. So
Let's just move on quickly to our next topics. So there have been insinuations in recent times that the 2023 general elections may not hold. I think Mr. Henry Oqua, you mentioned something like that last week.
Yes, I did.
You know, if the insecurity in the country continues to worsen, you know, so there are insinuations that we may not have elections in 2023. So this week, the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, on Tuesday specifically said, after his meeting with the president at the Aso Rock Villa, he said that there will be no 2023 elections in Nigeria if insecurity persists. Also, the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, speaking on Channels Television's Politics Today, still on Tuesday, while condemning the attack on Governor Ortom and also agreeing with him, said, and I quote, I'm going to read this quote here, I think he is right, referring to Ortom, that the elections may not hold in 2023. Definitely, we cannot conduct elections under an insecure environment. So, if insecurity is not nipped in the bud, it will escalate. And if it escalates, all of us should be worried that as at the time we are getting ready for the 2023 elections, we may have a full-scale banditry and other insecurity in the country. With that, there is nobody that can carry out any election in that atmosphere. This according to the governor of Ondo State. So they are all saying, and like you said last week, that if the insecurity in the country right now, with the attack on the governor, there's so much rampant kidnappings that have been going on of school children. You know, they're saying that we may not have elections in 2023. You know, and I was talking to you earlier today, Mr. Oqua. We were thinking about the 2015 elections. You know, when President Buhari was campaigning and he was about to come into power, and they wanted to move the elections, and they actually even moved the elections. And he was the one that stood tall then, and he was so much opposed. He's saying, "Who is Boko Haram? Why should they move an election?" And right now we are under his dispensation, and governors are coming out to say in public that we may not hold a general election in 2023 when his government is about to exit. I need you to react
Okay,
to
so
that.
to a bit of context,
Yeah.
Buhari's own was, I think, a week or 2 weeks to the election before it was moved. Now, we are discussing the fact that going by latest trends, in 2 years' time, we will not be able to hold elections.
2 years away.
I want you to let this sink in. What it means is, whatever the state of insecurity is right now, it's going to get worse in the next 2 years. That's what these two governors have said. Do you understand? Now, who does not holding who will benefit the most from not from us
Government
not?
in power will stay longer.
President.
Well, the truth about it is, that's what will happen. Now, if we don't hold elections in 2015, there's supposed to be 2023. There's supposed to be a line of succession. But what happens when you don't hold an election is that your constitution becomes useless. Do you understand? Now, when your constitution is useless, it means you've moved into a martial state. But the government is the law, is the judiciary, is the everything. Do you understand? The government will be plotting a coup against Nigerians. So that's what is basically happening right now. Do you understand? Now, I have a problem, with chief security officers of their states discussing elections at this time.
Exactly my point.
Do you understand, sir? Now, if you don't think Nigeria is in enough crap, you will believe that there's 2023 election that's going to happen. So right now, as we are not sure that this country will exist by 2023.
Is it possible? We don't have Nigeria in 2023.
It is possible. How? You see, the question I was going to ask us here is, why is Nigeria so elastic? How come there's no limit to where you can push Nigerians? How come there's no limit to how far you can stretch this entity? How come? Do you kill 3 million people in a pogrom, in a civil war? It's not enough to break the country. Do you commit all forms of atrocities? It's still not enough. Do you bring incompetent leaders back to back? Are the people poor? Are the people suffering? It's still not enough. What will it take for Nigerians to stand up and say, we can't have this anymore? What do we need to give them? What do we need to say to Nigerians for them to say, okay, no, this far and no further, we cannot go beyond this point? Because it looks like we will come to 2023 and have the space in our hearts to say, yes, let him remain there. After all, he's the one that has that has the military. He's the one that has this one. Let's leave him to God. God is not going to come down to save us.
Mr. Houston, do you think he can get to a place where we will not hold a general elections in Nigeria? Do you see that in any way possible? Do you think that can happen, even if the insecurity continues to rise and rise?
Actually, I mean, when people start talking about the state of insecurity affecting the 2023 elections, I felt a little discomfort within me, because I felt Nigerians should be talking more about insecurity and other things other than 2023. I'm not even happy about people discussing 2023 right now, because that's shifting the focus, if you ask me. The focus should be tackling insecurity. Because if we start talking insecurity right now, it's like we anticipate this problem right now to persist till then, and by 2023, people might transcend from this conversation about insecurity to, will Tinubu be able to fight Boko? Will he be able to end the insecurity? Will he be able to fight bandits and Boko Haram? Will the Igbo presidency be able to fight or end Boko Haram and all that? So for me, I will typically want to think that it is too early to start discussing 2023.
No, but we're looking at the rising insecurity.
Well,
we're looking at a probability of it stopping us from holding elections that year.
I think this is we're all like Nigeria right now. Lots and lots of people are just focused on 2023, which I understand why. But then I think recently we just made a few militarized changes from the heads of service and all that. We should have a little bit of optimism that before the end of 2022, insecurity should be a thing of the past, or be a little bit be reduced.
Okay, but may I ask, based on what we're seeing right now, because we're dealing with facts. You know, we are seeing what we're seeing right now. We just talked about the governor being attacked. We have seen the kidnappings. You know, we have seen all the killings going on. We have seen the farmers' headers crisis in the southwest. Based on the facts, do you think we should be optimistic based on what we can't see? We have seen the president not taking any action on FUNAM. We have also seen the security agencies that are in charge of security in Nigeria not do anything. So what are we supposed to be optimistic about? Make it make sense.
Okay. We saw the Black Lives Matter protest in the US. We saw the pandemic, and the US election still held in November. We saw the mall bomb blast in Nairobi. And was it 2016 or between 2016 and 2015? And they still had elections. So I would not want our politicians to listen to conversations like this and relax and say, let's just forget about 2023. I think we should be able to give people a glimpse of hope that by 2023 all of these things should be reduced, or elections will be held anyways. So I don't want to give anybody hope. Because trust me, if elections aren't held in 2023, a lot of people are going to benefit from it, and a lot of people are going to lose from it. So I don't want to give those who are going to benefit from this kind of thing, I don't want to give them that hope. So I believe that elections will be held in 2023,
so
with or without what's going on right now.
Yes,
I'm being optimistic.
That
yes.
it holds.
Regardless of what's happening right now, elections will hold in 2023.
What do you think needs to happen, that will make the environment conducive for us to have elections in 2023? Not being optimistic right now, what do you think the government in power needs to do? What do they need to do practically, realistically? What should they do?
Okay, first I would like to flip this quickly from the government to the people. The government has no legitimacy. Nobody apart from people who are directly benefiting from it, nobody wants this government to continue telling whatever stories they've been telling. So away with that. Now to the people, we need to be able to talk. I am saying this now, and anybody who watched Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed.
When you say talk, what do you mean? Let these things be practical.
Now, we need a conference. We need a national conference.
But they will not let those kind of things hold right now after the NSAS.
Sal, that's where. Now, the NSAS belonged to the Sorosuke generation. That was theirs. A national conference will be the generation of the people that refused to Sorosuke in the first place. Do you understand? Our parents then, they are the ones who will hold that national conference. We will have representation there, quite all right. But some of the issues that are at play right now in Nigeria are beyond the NSAS movement. The NSAS movement can only try to raise awareness to those things, but the strings that are pulling behind the scene are beyond the NSAS movement. So a sovereign national conference by the people, for the people. Because Sal, the man in Benue needs to sit down with the Fulani man in front of him and say, what you have done is wrong. The Fulani man has to be in a position where he must accept what the Benue man says to him, because we are looking for progress. And his own job is not to say sorry. His own job is not to say, no, you did it first, or I did it first, or whatever. It is, I am sorry. I've hurt you, I've cost you, I've killed your loved ones, I've destroyed your farmlands, I've made life unbearable for you. I am sorry. Do you understand? Now, you, the other person, you've also done so and so things to me. Me too. I apologize. I am sorry.
We need to reconcile.
We need to reconcile. We need to. No, now, if I say we need to reconcile, it sounds like something very far-fetched, because the man in what did they call it, in Oyo, is not thinking about any form of reconciliation. He's looking for what?
Recompense.
Exactly. He wants his harvest, his immediate harvest that is losing. Do you know how many people have not gone to how many farmers in Nigeria did not go to the farm before this rainy season came upon us? Do you know what the food shortage that is bound to happen by this time next year? Do you understand? We need to be able, as a people, mobilize ourselves and say, look, we must talk whether we like it or not.
So, Mr. Houston, what do you think we can do? What do you think the government needs to do, or the people need to do? Because Henry Oqua has put it on the people now. You might have a different view. What do you think we can do to ensure that we're in a stable condition where we can hold the elections in 2023?
Clearly, I think what Henry Oqua said is actually the right thing. I was thinking about it earlier on. We need a national conference, a national reconciliation conference, because the war right now is not just between Nigeria and the bandits, Nigeria and Boko Haram. Even within ourselves, we still have our intertribal skirmishes going on. The Nukwe man doesn't want to talk to the Juku man. The Juku man doesn't want to talk to the Tiv man. Like, there's this war going on. It's still not at arm's level, taking arm's level, but it will be worse when it gets to that point. So I feel if if it's easy for you to call everybody to Abuja to come and share money, then it's easy for you to call representatives from every tribe in Nigeria, recognizing every single tribe in Nigeria. It's not this one will come up and give names. There are 250 something tribes in Nigeria, disregarding or discounting some other tribes. We need to really account for every tribe and their representatives come down to Abuja, fix a date, they'll sit down and talk these issues. And it's not going to be like the last one we had where a group was plotting against bringing the whole thing to an end, spoiling the whole thing because it wasn't going in their favor. This is reconciliation first before proper restructuring or whatever is going to come next. As a matter of fact, it's even at that dialogue, we're going to discuss whether we're restructuring or whatever. But the thing with our government again is whenever you talk about a table talk, you think it's a call for war. It's a call for war. You're doing this. People have had to sit down and say, look, let us have referendums. Let us talk. All of these things are supposed to be talk. No one's talking about war in the 21st in 2021. When people say, let's sit down, the government, the first thing they say is treason. You want to fight. You want to do this. So if the government is really willing to reconcile this country, because trust me, the internal crisis is actually worse than that external one. If they say the bandits or the Boko Haram guys are coming from outside, when we are not together anymore, it's worse because who's going to actually fight against these people coming from outside? Especially when you can actually align with these people coming from outside to fight against your enemies. Like they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we shouldn't let it get to that level. If it's not already there yet, then we should be able to organize a national conference.
So we need to organize a national
reconciliation
conference. And we need to take it seriously as well. You know, I don't think the conference these gentlemen are talking about right now is where money needs to be shared. This is not about money.
I only give that instance.
This is not about, I'm speaking to the people right now, you know. This is not about sharing of money. This is not about personal interest, any sort of personal interest. That's you representing your people, finding out what your people need and coming sincerely to the table to mediate, reconcile. There's never really going to be peace, you know, but we can get to a better place. We were in a better place before, you know. So I think I agree with you guys. So on our final topic for today, a former Central Bank of Nigeria Deputy Governor, Dr. Obadiah Mailafia, is that right? Yeah. Reacting to the attack on the governor of Benue State on Wednesday, had the following to say. And so what I did right now, I took some specific quotes from the interview and I'll read the quotes for you guys to react to those specific quotes. I felt those quotes were quite interesting. You know, so the first quote goes, "The circumstances in Borno are very different. Borno is a war zone." That's the governor, the former deputy governor of the CBN, comparing whatever happened to the governor of Benue State, comparing it to what's going on in Borno State. We all know about the Boko Haram situation in Borno State. He says Borno is a war zone. We have been living with these evil people, in bracket, Boko Haram, bandits and all terrorists, for a while now. But what happened in Benue is totally different and diabolical. We do not know what they are trying to do, but this could affect the whole country. So this is the first quote. So he says whatever happened in Benue State is quite different from what happened in Borno State. Do you agree with that? And do you agree when he says that whatever happened, we spoke about that earlier, whatever happened, the attack on the governor is enough to destroy the whole country?
Clearly, I think what he said is not so far from the truth because when Benue State, where's Benue situated? The people from the middle belt, we want to call it middle belt, but then it's constitutionally not central, so they're predominantly Christians. It will eventually boil down to a religious war, religious wars are even bigger than intertribal wars, so it will definitely boil down to a religious war. Now, clearly, the whole country is leaning on two sides. It's like, it's either you are for the Fulani or you are not Fulani. That's what it is right now. That's the point we're in right now. And I mean, it's unfortunate that the people unequivocally made it so.
Yeah, do you agree that whatever happened in Benue is different from what is happening in Borno?
Whatever
insecurity.
They're both insecurity. Yeah. But I believe that The insecurity in Benue will not be considered as the insecurity in Borno State because this is a predominantly Christian state. People will see it as a witch hunt. People will see it as a direct attack, especially with the pronouncement from FUNAM. What else do you expect people to think?
Hey, Oqua, do you want to chime in on that? You know, saying whatever happened, the attack on the governor is enough to destroy the entire country. What does it mean? What do you think it means with that statement?
It means that you and I should be afraid for our own safety. It means that if we even have the nerve to comment on this issue on this podcast, we should be afraid of our own safety. That's basically what it means. You see, it has been bad before, Sal. It has not gotten this bad before in Nigeria's history. It has never been this bad. Now, initially, you were fighting against a government. Whether that government was bound by the law or not by the law, whatever it was, you were fighting an identified enemy. Sal, do you know the military uniform of FUNAM, or whatever they're called?
No,
do you know who their generals are? No. Can you identify them on the streets? So you see that you're in a bigger problem because the enemy that you cannot see is more dangerous than the enemy that you can see. Wow. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, where Mailafia has taken it to is to bring it home for each and every one of us, that we are exposed now more than ever before. And the problem is that we will not know where we stepped wrong. There will be no going to court. You will just appear in front of God, the judgment throne, for those people who believe in God.
But what do you think it looks like when he said this could destroy? How could this destroy Nigeria?
That's the thing. So if you
the attack
remember,
on one governor is what I'm looking at right now. The attack on the governor.
When you analyze state issues, you don't take certain things as isolated cases. There's a process that builds up to where that action happened, and even after that action happened, there's another process downwards. If you are going to even say this will never happen again, there's a process of de-escalating that. Do you understand? We are in a country where trends, both, in fact, mostly negative, we pick them up very quickly. I remember back then when they were talking about people who were manufacturing bombs for Boko Haram and stuff. There were certain times that they found non-Muslims, non-Kanuris, non-Fulanis making bombs in Kaduna and selling to Boko Haram. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, sir, what I'm saying is, at some point, it could be that your next door neighbor does not like the music that you have played or does not like where you parked your car, and you are suddenly a target, sir. It can actually get to that. And the thing is, nobody can do anything about it. Not will, sir. Nobody can do. What I'm saying by can do means nobody has the ability to do anything about it. That's where we are, not like where we are getting to. That's where we are living in right now.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm just going to go to the second quote I picked from that interview. So he says, Benue people and the people of the Middle Belt will never ever accept this attempt on one of their sons. Nobody is afraid of these people, meaning the Mailafia people. But it is just that these people are given arms and allowed to move freely. Please take note. These people are given arms and allowed to move freely. While the machetes that ordinary people have been dispossessed from them, the ordinary people, then they are not even allowed to defend their homes and their families. Speaking of the ordinary people, but we are glad that God saved the life of His Excellency, the governor. So he's saying that these people, they are being given arms. I had to highlight that point. That's where I want us to face. Do we believe that these people are being given arms and allowed to move free? I need you guys to react to this part. Yeah. So are we getting to this stage? You know, because this is a very high-profile person speaking. This is not a normal, regular citizen just alleging something.
I like where you want to highlight, but I want to also draw attention to something that is subtly happening from what Mailafia is saying.
Okay.
Mailafia is identifying the two distinct sides in this battle. Without saying, he's a politician, he's a technocrat, he has run for office before, and I'm very sure that he plans to run for office again in 2023.
Do those things dismiss what people are saying?
I'm getting to my point now, sir. So what he is doing is indirectly calling the other people to do something for themselves. Let me explain what I mean. It says, but it is just that these people are given arms and allowed to move freely. While now these people are FUNAM and co. While the machetes ordinary people have are dispossessed from them. So now these are the two sides.
Those are farmers.
What I'm basically explaining to you is that Mailafia, as a political leader, has identified two sides. This is where I am afraid this issue can boil over from very quickly. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, his insinuation here is pitting whoever else can only guard themselves with machetes. Whoever else, do you understand? On this side, against those who are allowed to move freely. Now, it makes you and the rest of us here enemies to these people who can move around freely with weapons. Now, Mailafia is not exactly doing what other people have not done more directly. Do you understand? I feel like he's just a politician right now who is beating the war drums, basically, by this statement. You get what I'm saying? The job of political leaders at this point is to de-escalate. As much as possible, pour water to the fire. We know what the implications of these things are. Do you understand what I'm saying? As a political leader, you can't walk around having this type of views in your head.
Are you saying he should have this information and not inform the public?
So if Mailafia actually has intelligence, the best thing that he would have done for us would be, based on this document that I have seen, based on this correspondence, based on this thing, based on that thing, Nigerians, be warned. Warn Nigerians. Don't come and continue pumping what do they call it, fanning the flames. Do you understand? Without any end game. What solution did Mailafia propose? What solution did he propose?
He did not, but
exactly.
He made us aware of something.
So if I was in Benue State, and that attack happened to my governor, I'll be looking for responses. I'll be looking for who to listen to, which political leader to listen to get an idea of what should. If I listen to Mailafia, do you think that by the next weekend I haven't gone to do something stupid? Because look at it. Ordinary people, machetes disposed from them, they cannot defend their homes and their families. So that is a helpless position. If I am in Benue State right now, I will not want to be in this position that Mailafia described. What will I do? I will go and look for the one that they cannot remove from my hand now, the one that's not machete. What is chaos?
Mr. Houston, you want to chime in on this?
Let me chime in a little. The thing is, for Mailafia, first of all, where's Mailafia from? I think it's from Kaduna State.
Yes.
Okay. Mailafia is saying what somebody like Sheikh Gumi will say. Sheikh Gumi has been a sympathizer for the bandits.
I don't want to even talk about him.
Yes, and Mailafia is only doing his own bit. I wouldn't judge him. I won't knock him down for what he's doing. Clearly, he's stirring up the polity, which is clearly what he's doing. But on the other hand, one of the reasons why I wouldn't knock down Mailafia comes from, I come from the south of Nigeria, so I really do not. I will tell you to an extent, I sympathize with the middle belts, what they're going through right now, the north central. But I think Mailafia is close to, if he hasn't had first-hand experience of this carnage that's going on in the north central. So I wouldn't entirely judge him for his comments. Bro, I've not seen bloodshed in north central. I might have seen down south, but from what I see every day on TV about what's going on in the north central, they say person will wear shoe, I know where they pin him. So I wouldn't really knock him down for what he's saying. He's saying these people are being given arms.
Yeah. And allowed to move.
Allowed to move.
Yeah.
Now, clearly, even if the government do not give them arms, if they subsidize arms for these people, they have given them arms indirectly. If they catch any of these people and they do not prosecute these people, they have given them arms. So anyhow you look at it, if you juxtapose it here and there, turn it upside down, you realize what the man is trying to say. So if this is his own contribution, alerting the people, because I mean, in all the Asian society, we had town criers. If he's alerting his people that, look, this is what is happening, even if he does it in this with this approach, if he does it with a more subtle approach, the most important thing is the message has actually been delivered that this is what is going on. Because the other group we're talking about have been killing people. I think what message actually passes through more than that? This group have been killing people around the country. We thought it was a northern thing. until people started waking up down south and they were seeing people walk into their farm and maiming them. People saw it in the Niger Delta. So it's like this one other group is overrunning the whole group, the rest of the country. And no one is saying anything about it. So why would I knock Mailafia down when other people sympathize with people who kill people? So
okay. I'm just going to read the second to the last quote I have from him here. So he says, "This is totally unprecedented. This is the worst time ever in the history of Nigeria. You cannot even compare with Abacha's time. Abacha's time was a golden era compared to what is happening. You think Abacha would have tolerated all this? You cannot travel on these roads, killings everywhere, destructions everywhere." So do you guys think this is the worst time ever? Do you think Abacha's era is golden compared to this era?
Who would have thought, huh?
Yes. You guys give me very quick answers on these ones, so we can finish up.
When 1999 came, we were sure that we had put our dark days behind us. You know, from then, the hope was from light to light, you know, to greater light and all whatnot. Mailafia is right. This is the worst time to be Nigerian. This is the worst time ever in the history of this country to be Nigerian.
Compared to the Civil War era?
So, compared to any point at all. You know, I wanted to just stop, but the fact that you've got the Civil War, is better to know that you are in a full-blown war than to be living in one and be going about your business as if you're not in a war.
Mr. Houston, golden era, Abacha's era compared to what we are living right now. At least we experienced the Abacha era. We did.
Well, like Henry said earlier, I think it's better when you know who you're fighting against.
Yeah.
During the Abacha era, we were scared of the government. It was the government we were not necessarily fighting against, but we were worried of the government. But right now, we don't even know. Like, we don't even know these people. It's like faceless people. You close your door against faceless people. You faceless people that are almost becoming nameless because even the government is here to prescribe them. So they're, for now, still nameless. You call them names, but can you identify any of them? So it's not necessary. I wouldn't necessarily call Abacha's era a golden era, but
no, but you said when you compare it, that now looks like a golden era. That's to show how bad it is.
If that's how he wants to term it, I just know we are retrogressing, or we are regressing. We are not advancing, so it's worse than what it ever was.
Wow. So finally, the final quote. So he said, "World powers want to destroy Nigeria, and what we have done is to come." And what they have done, that's the world powers, and what they have done is to come and meet some people and tell them, you are born to rule. This Mailafia, like breaking this whole thing down, you know. So he goes on to say there is an agenda. Then he calls the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo's, what he called it, Fulanization, and enforcement of one particular religion against the rest. So he's saying right now that they are trying to make Nigeria a Muslim nation. That's what he says. But he's talking about world powers here who intend or are trying to destroy Nigeria. So he goes on to say the world powers encourage them, I don't know who he means by them, and tells them, we are behind you, go ahead. They provide the weapons and some local people buy into that idea and they begin a campaign of genocide. This is what he's saying. That world powers want to destroy Nigeria. Do we believe that whatever we're going through right now is as a result of world powers trying to destroy Nigeria? He didn't say African nations. He's saying world powers.
Since we're working with time, if we'll have to talk about world power influence in what's going on in Nigeria right now.
With the insecurity though.
With insecurity, yeah. With regards to insecurity, we go on and on and on and on. It's not far from the truth. But then I also think that if world power tells you something, you as a person too, you should be able to understand yourself. Just to dabble into history a little, this was the Sino-Japanese War. It actually started like this. The war lasted between 1937 and 1945. This was the time when Japan described China. That was China was like 15 times the size of Japan. Japan is just a small island, but Japan described China as the sick man of Asia. And there's nothing more denigrating than when you, as a person, as a living conscious entity, decides that you are better than this other person. you were designed to rule over this person. It's racism. It's just in this aspect we're all black people, but in like global context, it's still racism. So if world power comes to tell you that you're born to rule this person, I mean, you should be able to be objective as a conscious and rational being. You should be able to know that. And nobody's prerogative to
even
rule over
saying
anybody.
the world powers have come to tell people that you are born to rule. How do we not equate them with all the killings going on? How does killing people now influence you ruling?
Well, if the policies of a particular group favor the so-called world power or world powers, then they could. We've seen this happen in Libya and every other place. They could back them up with everything that they have. I mean, we've heard of choppers dropping weapons in Delta State and some other places. So if we can't point fingers till this point, if we can't say these weapons were dropped by this person, then we can, attribute it to whatever it is. But then, allegedly, according to Mailafia, he says world power. I don't see world power in play, but I clearly believe that it is a matter of one group thinking that it is their destiny or their designation, their birthright to rule over the other people.
I see these comments on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, I see these comments.
This is why I've been waiting for you guys to land. I'm sorry, but Mailafia is very disappointing in his statements. Honestly speaking.
How so?
Now, when you make accusations like this, except if you thought you were in a beer parlor, when you make accusations like this, you must back them up with instances that people can relate with. How is this an invasion of a sovereign state by another world power? How can Mailafia possibly back what he has said with evidence? Now, listen, I did a course on terrorism and counterterrorism, and I got to understand that at the heart of terrorism is being able to instill fear in other people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if a terrorist does his work and the media goes ahead to give you full details of how the terrorist did his work, and that detail puts fear in another person, that media house has become the terror of that person. Do you understand? That's how terrorism works. Now, whoever is feeding Mailafia with this is funny comments, you understand, must be directing Mailafia where they want him to lead certain group of people who will listen to him towards. Do you understand? Now, Sal, we all have our responsibilities. Our responsibility here on Reactions is to awaken the spirit of Nigeria in everybody who listens to us. Whether our audiences are Nigerians or not, we want them to have an idea of what it feels like to be Nigerian and what we would like to change. You understand? Mailafia here is telling us that genocide, it looks as if he has just merged what has happened in the whole history of Nigeria into one tale that he tells people, as if that just happened. What he's obviously saying is targeted at the North. He's pointing everything towards the agreement to join the union in the first place, pre-independence and whatnot. Now he has lumped everything up together and said and put arms and everything inside. I'm making it a different story that people who stand by the roadsides to read those newspapers and whatnot, when they take these conversations and dissect them, the things that you find will not be funny for anybody. My question now is, what is Mailafia's aim with throwing genocide up and down?
Okay.
He's educated. He has read the books. He has seen the figures. He has seen what has happened. Has Mailafia witnessed a genocide by himself before? Please, he shouldn't take us there. He shouldn't do the job of the terrorist. If he does not have any possible solutions for us, if he does not have any other thing to say to us, do not make the ordinary Nigerian more afraid. Don't.
To counter you, so are you trying to say that once somebody does not have the solution and they are aware of the problem, they should not speak out?
My problem is that his awareness of the problem is warped. Do you understand what I'm saying? His awareness of the problem is warped. Mailafia at this point cannot. Maybe many people do not see Mailafia for who he is. As far as Nigerian discourse is concerned, Mailafia is very well respected. In the economic circle, in the political circle, he is very, very respected. Think of it like like a party stalwart from the last, say, 16 years, coming out to make a statement like this. That's how highly people hold him. And even with this insecurity and stuff, his profile has actually increased. Do you understand? Now we want people who are in those positions to help us. That's basically what I'm saying. Because you're not doing any good to the man in Southern Kaduna, the man in Benue, or whatever, by calling genocide or telling them that the machete said they know these things. You're not doing them any good. Do you understand? But now what you're doing is you have zeroed in the fear and pumped it straight at their hearts. First, you tell them that these people are walking around with their weapons and nobody can hold them accountable. Now, again, you're telling them that even the people that you think you will take these people to court in the international court are backing them. That's what this looks like.
Okay, to end, yeah?
It's irresponsible.
Mr. Houston, just going to ask you, do you believe there's a Fulani agenda?
Until...
Or a religious agenda to Islamize Nigeria? Do you think so? Very shortly.
Well, I've never fallen for the religious agenda ideology. I've never fallen for that. But the silence of the presidency, the silence of people at the higher echelon of things in this country actually says more. Your silence says more, because if there is no agenda, people should be able to come up and speak. We've seen situations where the Fulani people say we should give them lands to graze. Giving you lands to graze is different from letting you graze. The people said they don't want you to graze on their lands because you spoil their cornfields and all that. Now you say they should give us lands to ranch, to use as ranches. Now, if you see yourself as an enterprising Nigerian, if you do not have any agenda, and you carry out such lucrative business, such as herding, you should be able to afford lands. Just like the provision Igbo man seller can move from the south side to the north and purchase his own store. He doesn't ask the government of Kaduna, Zamfara, Jigawa to give him stores to sell his wares. He actually procures this thing after years of toiling, just like the Fulani man toils around the country with his cow. So as a pastoralist, all the years of selling and herding and everything you've done, you should be able to afford your own land. So if you feel it is your right for these people to give you, if they don't want you to enter the farms, then they should give you. You are asking, you're seeking. As a matter of fact, it's a demand. You're demanding that they should give you a land to graze your cows. Then clearly, I don't know what else looks like an agenda, because if you're saying this and the people who are supposed to speak, the people who are supposed to be the judges of the country, the judge of the country, the presidency is supposed to, which is supposed to come out and say, no, this is not right. Is saying allow these things happen. Clearly, in every shape, form, and manner, it looks more like an agenda.
Oh, wow.
But as far as the Islamization agenda, I do not think, and one of the reasons why I don't believe there's an Islamization agenda, we have lots of other problems in this country. I don't think one religion will solve that.
Okay. All right, thank you guys for today. We've come to the end of today's episode. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube. That's very important. We need subscribers, yeah? And like this video and share. So we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Ciao.